for being a little late. I was
No problem.
finishing another meeting.
So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Today, Her Grace Sridevi Mataji is going to enlighten us on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, verse 22. So, Mataji, would you like me to share the screen?
Yes, please. Yes, please. I would like you to share the screen.
Sure, Mataji, give me 30
Very
seconds.
important verse. And I thought let's speak a little bit about this.
Yes, very important to us for intelligent people.
We're trying to become intelligent, not so, but try.
Over to you, Mataji, please. Thank you.
So please accept my humble obeisances, dear devotees. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you all so much for joining in for today's class. The very instructive lessons of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna spoke to Arjuna, are important for all time. And I chose this verse because I think I needed the most. Okay, so that's how we chose this one. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this is the 5th chapter, verse number 22, and the verse goes as follows. Yehi samsparsha jabhoga dukkhayonaya evate. Adi antavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. So this is the translation. Now we'll go on to the purport. Material sense pleasures are due to the contact of the material senses, which are all temporary, because the body itself is temporary. A liberated soul is not interested in anything which is temporary. Knowing well the joys of transcendental pleasures, how can a liberated soul agree to enjoy false pleasure? In the Padma Puran, it is said, Ramante yogino nante satyanande chidatmani iti ram padena so param brahma vidiyate. The mystics derive unlimited transcendental pleasures from the absolute truth, and therefore the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, is also known as Ram. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, also 5.5.1, it is said, Nayam deho deha bhajam nriloke kashtan kaman arhate vidbhujam ye tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam shuddhyed yasmad brahma saukhyam tvanantam. My dear sons, there is no reason to labor very hard for sense pleasure while in this form, human form of life. Such pleasures are available to the stool eaters, the hogs. Rather, you should undergo penances in this life by which your existence will be purified, and as a result, you will be able to enjoy unlimited transcendental bliss. Therefore, those who are true yogis or learned transcendentalists are not attracted by sense pleasures, which are the cause of continuous material existence. The more one is addicted to material pleasures, the more he is entrapped by material miseries. So you can see over here how clearly Prabhupada is delineating how important it is for us to understand the nature of this transcendental pleasure versus material sense pleasure. Material sense pleasures have a beginning and they have an end. While transcendental pleasure, being on the spiritual level, is never ending, ever increasing, has no beginning, has no end. And that is the true happiness for which the soul, the spirit soul, is actually hankering. So, when one comes to this understanding, this realization, which is only available in the human form of life, see, this is the beauty, this is the value, this is the gift of the human form of life, that man can use his higher intelligence to discriminate and apply his intelligence and analyze various situations and see the consequences of his actions and what happens when we do certain things or what doesn't happen when we do certain things, what is the end result of doing things in a certain way, and what is the repercussions of doing things in a certain way. So when he applies his intelligence and starts thinking like this, he starts wondering, why am I not happy? Why does everything come to an end? Where will I find endless pleasure? When will the suffering end? Then he begins spiritual life. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Once you have come to this human form of life, now you begin making inquiry into the absolute truth. And he starts searching for that source of complete, total, unlimited happiness, which is the Supreme Lord, here described as Ram. Unlimited transcendent pleasure comes from the Lord because he is completely transcendental and he's full of pleasure, full of happiness. He's eternal, exists, ever existing, and joyful all the time. Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. Anadir Adir Govindam Sarva Karana Karana. Early morning we sing, isn't it? Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Venum Kwanantam Aravinda Dalaya Taksham Barhavatamsam Asitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandarpa Koti Kaminiya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Such a beautiful description of the Lord in the Brahma Samhita. The Lord is, offered this prayer every morning in all our temples. And that brings us to this realization of who is Govinda, who is the Lord, full of transcendental pleasure, and I want to be with him. This is when we begin to realize that our activities in the material world have only brought us to another birth, another ending, because once you come in the material body, there's also an ending to that particular phase in your life. We have gone through this so many times. We have taken birth, we have had diseases, we have grown old, and we have died. And all the relationships that we have held so dear in this lifetime, my child, my husband, my wife, my grandchild, my, all this is all forgotten. In the next life, we have no recollection, we have no remembrance, we have no connection, and we go on to another life with another set of people and another set of circumstances, and we go through the same pangs of attachment, separation, and so on. So the man of intelligence starts thinking, where is that place where I can have perfect happiness, perfect peace, and which is never ending, which doesn't get interrupted? You might say, what is this, Mataji? How you can say, Vrindavan Nath Prabhu? We can stop screen share for now. So maybe we can look at all the people online. We can see if some brave souls want to come on. It would be nice to look at my audience, if possible. And we can request everyone to come online, keeping their cameras on. Yeah, so as I was saying, we start realizing that there's a limitedness to the happiness we have over here. We enjoy, we go to this party, oh, I had so much fun, I did this, I did that, I ate so much, but the next day the party is over. Okay, sometimes you have a hangover. If you have been into a party where there's liquor, then you all suffer the next day from that. Thankfully, devotees don't do all those things because we give up all those things. But I'm just saying that before we came to Krishna consciousness, maybe some of us took part in all these things, and we know the end result is not good. We have looked for happiness and not finding it, we actually end up suffering. How many rasgullas can we eat? How many gulab jamuns can we eat? How many places can we go and see? You know, people say, oh, we went touring, we went to Monte Carlo, we went to Paris, we went to this place, we went to that place. After you show all the photographs to all the people and everybody said, ooh and ah and this and that, again, you're bored again. What is the next place you want to go and see? Which is the next beach you have to explore? Which is the next adventure resort that you want to go to? So this is how endlessly people are struggling in the material world. If you look at them, they're always planning. Oh, next year we are going to go to Disney World. Oh, next year we are going to the coral reefs of the Great Barrier Reef of Australia. We're saving up all our money for that. And so on and so on and so on. You know, things to see, things to hear. I know one couple who travel like 1 day and 1 night, halfway going across the country to attend some music recital for the past 40 years. They've been doing this. And what is this music recital? It's just some mundane music. And they very proudly say that we go every year, we have our friends coming, we go and meet them over there, and we have a special table set for ourselves, and we listen to music all evening. But that one evening, they do all this, and then they come back home and they wait again for the next year. Can you imagine going through all this trouble for one musical evening, which is just mundane music? People do so many things. They keep cats, they keep dogs, they keep parakeets, they keep parrots. They go and change their haircut, they go and change their location, they go and change jobs, they go and change partners, all in a vain search for the endless happiness that can only come on the transcendental platform. So Krishna is describing to all of us over here through this particular verse. What is he saying? A man of intelligence does not take part in the sources of misery. That means he doesn't even enter into this chakkar, this cycle of, gorging and overeating or over drinking or over anything, because he knows the end result is bad. So you might say, what do you mean? Devotees don't eat? Devotees don't sleep? Devotees don't have a good time? Of course. But it is all spiritualized. It is on the transcendental platform and doesn't implicate one in further misery, because it is all done for the pleasure of Lord Krishna. So devotee eats. Of course he eats, and he eats very nice prasadam, which is offered first to Krishna. But there's a balanced eating. You don't overeat, you don't undereat. You have sense gratification, but it is like salt. That means you just have enough to keep going. If you put too much salt in food, what happens? It becomes very bad in taste. If you put too little, then you're hankering more. So the senses need some satisfaction. The tongue needs some satisfaction. So we give it nice palatable foods, but we offer it first to Krishna. The eyes are always hankering to see some beautiful sight, to see some beautiful thing, to see some beautiful ornaments, to see some beautiful flowers, and so on and so forth. Now everything is beautifully manifested in the deity form of Krishna. So when we go to the temple and we see beautiful Krishna and how beautifully he's decorated, we see his beautiful garments, we see the beautiful jewelry on him, we see the beautiful garlands on him, we see his headdress, we see his flute, we see his ankle bells, we see his beautiful fingernails, all beautifully decorated. It's a festival for the eyes. Tamal Krishna Maharaj said that the early morning Shringar Arti Darshan is a festival for the eyes. So this is the sense gratification for the eyes for a devotee, because now his vision, the propensity to see something beautiful, is reposed in seeing the beautiful form of Radha and Krishna, or Gaur Nitai, or Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, or Sita Ram Lakshmana Hanuman. And there are so many beautiful forms of the Lord, Prahlad Narsingadev, Lakshmi Narsimhadev. Like this, we can feast our eyes on the beautiful form of the Lord, and we will never be satiated. You can go on looking at Krishna and you will never get tired, you will never get bored. You will always feel enchanted and charmed, and you will relish the beautiful vision that is being presented, because Krishna is so merciful. We don't have the eyes, we don't have the spiritual vision to see Krishna. But because he loves his devotees so much, he agrees to come in his deity form, in his Archa Vigraha form, so that we can have loving exchanges. We can see the form of the Lord, we can worship the form of the Lord, we can have loving exchanges in serving the deity form of the Lord. So that is Krishna's special mercy to us by coming down from the spiritual world to this material world in the deity form. Then we want to hear nice things, right? In before Krishna consciousness, what we used to do, go to the disco, right? Bang, 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 and dance, 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 and do all that wriggling and all the things that we did. But in the end, it wasn't very satisfying, because after it's all over, then what do? Bored, right? I remember in going to college for these college programs and doing all that stuff, and in the end, bored, nothing. What next? You know, you don't get, but devotee never gets bored of Harinam Sankirtan. Every day we go to the temple, every day there's Sankirtan, and every day the devotee feels joyful to take part. We never get tired of Harinam Sankirtan, because it's coming from the spiritual world. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And when devotees all come together, playing nice musical instruments, playing mridanga, playing kartal, and some people play so many different beautiful musical instruments. Some people get inspired to play the, what is that called? Saxophone or horn or something like that. I've seen people playing all kinds of various musical instruments. They play the flute sometimes, though it's not actually necessary in Sankirtan. You can play it, but it's not required. Mridanga and kartal is most essential. But the whole symphony, the whole music together, it's like a beautiful orchestra. And everybody coordinated, singing together. There's the lead singer, he's singing or she's singing, and everyone else is following. It makes such a beautiful offering, and it is so pleasing to the ears and to the heart, because this sound vibration is coming from the spiritual world. So devotee also has sense gratification, but it is sense gratification that is purifying and not entangling and entrapping us. You know what His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj says? My sense gratification is Harinam Sankirtan. So this is the sense gratification that we want. And it's the most wonderful sense gratification, because it is so pleasing to the heart, and it's so purifying to the heart, and it brings us closer and closer to Krishna. So man of intelligence looks for happiness in those things that will not entangle him, but which will purify him and which will not come to an end. We don't want a pleasure that comes to an end, isn't it? The soul is hankering for unlimited happiness, unlimited joy, unlimited love. And that is found on the spiritual platform. That is found in our relationship with Krishna. No situation, no person, no nothing can satisfy the way Krishna can. Nobody can reciprocate the way Krishna can. And so the spirit soul, the individual soul, gets complete relief from the pangs of all material miseries when he fully realizes his relationship with Krishna, which is what we're all trying to do now. This material world, it's very hard, isn't it? Because we have been, for millions and millions of lifetimes, we have actually been entangled with the material energy. Our default mode is what? I will look for happiness here. I will try to find a situation which will make me happy here. Okay, I didn't like this job. I will change this job. I'll get a better job and then I'll be happy. Oh, I didn't like this wife. I'll get a better wife. I'll make myself happy by getting a new wife or a new husband. I didn't like this location. I think I need to change my home. I'll move to another place. I'll get a better house and then I'll be happy. Oh, I don't think this degree is what I was cut out for. I'm going to go back to school, get another degree, get another career, and then I will be happy. So like this, we have tried so many things in the material world. And even after coming to Krishna consciousness, our default mode is, I will try to find happiness here. And what happens? We try, But then we find ourselves getting frustrated, disappointed, let down, cheated, or not very, even if none of those things happen, it's not very satisfying. But in Krishna consciousness, we find all our activities become very pleasing, very happy, joyfully, we can perform them. Su Sukham Kartum Avyayam. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that all the activities in Krishna consciousness are Su Sukham Kartum Avyayam, joyfully performed. We all love it, isn't it? When the deities are beautifully decorated, when there's nice kirtan going on, when nicely prepared, beautifully prepared foodstuffs are offered to Krishna, when decorations in the temple room are done very nicely, when there's a nice festival happening, all of us become so pleased, isn't it? Where is that pleasure coming from? It's coming from Krishna. And a pleasure which goes on increasing without stoppage happens only on the spiritual platform. It's just not available on the material platform because material is limited. It's the nature of this material world. Everything is temporary, everything is miserable. Krishna himself certifies this material world as Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. Everything is temporary, everything is miserable. Anityam Asukham Lokam. It's not eternal and it's temporary, without peace. So, we are actually, if we look at it, we are trapped. This material body is actually a prison house. And what we can enjoy with this limited material senses, our bodies and our minds and our senses are actually limited. But in our spiritual form, we can enjoy unlimitedly. Srila Prabhupada said, you want to enjoy? Go back to the spiritual world. There you can enjoy unlimitedly. Here is just a hard struggle for existence. Many of you may be young, so you may be thinking, what is this? Mataji is talking like this. But just wait, hit your 50s and 60s, and then you will realize what Srila Prabhupada is saying is so true, because then all the aches and pains and problems and limitations and setbacks begin because the body starts dwindling. The body starts deteriorating. Even if you want to enjoy, you cannot enjoy now. Your body will not let you. Guru Maharaj was just speaking yesterday that 80-year-old men in Paris going to buy tickets for a nightclub and trying to enjoy. What you can enjoy when you're 80 years old? You cannot. So the desire to enjoy is very strong, but the body will not let you enjoy. You may have diabetes, you may have hypertension. The doctor says, no salt now. You cannot eat food with salt in it. Or he says, no more sugar, no more sweets. Oh, that's so difficult for me. I love my rasmalai. I love my rasgulla. I love my gulab jamun. How will I survive? Doctor says, nothing doing. You want to live? Everything goes off the plate. No more sugar. And take these shots of insulin. So now you have to keep poking yourself with insulin just to keep your sugar levels down. And you cannot eat sugar anymore. So forcibly, one has to perform all these austerities just to keep health. Forcibly. So, what Krishna is saying, anyway, you have to perform penances. Anyway, you have to give up all these things. Why don't you be intelligent? Why don't you be sensible? Why don't you be smart and do it right in the beginning? Voluntarily take on the penances and austerities and get out once and for all of this cycle of birth and death and come back to me in the spiritual world where there's unlimited happiness, unlimited bliss, ever increasing joy and eternal life. Eternal life. You don't have to grow old. You don't have to die. You don't get diseases. There's no IRS. There's no taxes. There's no homework. There's no problem. It's Vaikunta, without anxiety. That's why it is called Vaikunta. This place is full of kunta, full of anxiety. They say, oh, these Hare Krishnas, they're so negative. They're always moaning about this material world. Look at nature, how beautiful she is. How beautiful are the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees. Why you Hare Krishnas are moaning and grumbling all the time? Look at all this beauty in nature. Well, ask that little worm that is crawling on the ground how beautiful he finds his life. He is scared to death of the bird that will come and peck him and eat him up. That's the beauty of nature. Look at the deer in the beautiful forest that you are admiring from the safety of your Jeep when you go on safari. He's scared to death of the lion that is prowling around, that is going to jump up and catch him. It's a dog-eat-dog world in nature. The bigger creature eats the smaller creature. So in your eyes, oh, nature is so beautiful because you're sitting there safely in your car, on your Jeep, on your safari. But to the creature who is out there in nature, it's a struggle for survival. It's a struggle for life, because any moment a bigger creature will come, pounce on it and eat it. Oh, this fish looks so peaceful in the aquarium. They're swimming happily and they're enjoying themselves in the cool water. Guess what? That little fish is scared of a big fish. Whoop! Come and swallow him and eat him up. So all this myth about, oh, there's so much beauty in nature and why you Hare Krishna is grumbling, this, that, this is reality. Yes, nature is beautiful, no doubt. There's even more beauty in the spiritual world. Even more beauty. And without all the inebrieties of this material world. So the material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. Whatever is here is there million times better and more in the spiritual world. So don't worry, you're not going to miss out on anything. On the other hand, you're going to get out of the prison house called as material body, material mind and senses, and the material prison house that we are in, which is just a struggle for survival. And especially in Kali Yuga, this is such a bad age that unspeakable things are happening in the world today. If we were in Satya Yuga, you can say, yes, yes, still it's quite nice because people are so pious. Mother Earth produces such bounty, pearls, emeralds, minerals, gold, this, that, so many. Today, what? Even to get decent milk is hard. Even to get ahimsa milk is difficult. Even to get decent quality of food to eat is difficult. We are living in such a difficult time because this is the age of Kali, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. So let's make haste and go back to Krishna. Let's not waste our time over here, because if we continue the entanglement or the flirtation, as I would say, with the material energy, what we are only going to get is another birth, only to begin all over again, which is really sad, because it's like going all the way to grad school and then having to again start from kindergarten, back again in another body, in another life, again start all over again. Of course, devotional service is never lost, never. So whatever point we have reached in this life will never be lost. We will pick up again where we left off in this lifetime. So that is guaranteed. But why take that chance and keep coming back again and again? Why not finish up in this lifetime and go back to Krishna, where we are actually meant to be and where we were? Our real home is with Krishna. This is an aberration. This is a punishment, actually. To be in the material body means a diseased condition of life. We are not meant to be in this material body. It's really an anomaly to be like this. The soul wants complete freedom, complete happiness, complete joy, complete peace, complete love, and it's not able to enjoy those things in a limited material body. So intelligent people will take part in Harinam Sankirtan, because this is the way to attain self-realization. What is the meaning of self-realization? It means just that, realization of the self. Because the self is not the body, the self is spirit, soul. Right? Spirit, soul. Who am I? I am spirit, soul. Aham Brahmasmi. For the soul, there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, he does not take birth, and he does not die. He is ever existing, primeval, and he is not slain when the body is slain. Just goes on to another body. Right? Remember? Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara praptis dhiras tatra namuyati. As the soul takes on dehinosmin yatha dehe, as the embodied soul passes continuously from youth to boyhood to old age, similarly, the soul passes into another body at the time of death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. So what kind of body do we want to get next? Vrindavan Nath Prabhu, what kind of body you want next?
Nobody, Mataji.
Oh, very, very elevated goal. Wonderful. Very happy to hear that. Who wants another material body? We don't want a material body. We want to get out of the material body. We want to come back to the spiritual self. We want to attain our real spiritual self. And we want to go back to Krishna. And that is possible. Even while we are within this body, we can revive our spiritual self. We can revive our relationship with Krishna. And then, even though we are in this material body, we will enjoy transcendental bliss. We will relish our relationship with Krishna, and we will no longer be subjected to the problems of this material world because we would have transcended them. Of course, that's not such an easy stage. Right now, we are just struggling to become steady in our devotional service. We are struggling with our anarthas right now. But if we keep going, we will enjoy a higher taste by giving up the lower taste. And slowly, slowly, what is like poison in the beginning will turn into nectar. So right now it may be so difficult. You say, oh, Krishna, getting up early in the morning, chanting our rounds, doing our sadhana, doing this. Oh, it's so difficult. It's so easy. Let me just watch my favorite soap opera. Where's that remote? This is too much. Come on, let me just watch. But then what happens? We start feeling again that sense of, oh, this is not very satisfying to me. This is not very enjoyable. And I end up feeling actually guilty that I know this is not good for me and yet I'm doing this, right? Sometimes we are pulled into all these things, isn't it? Oh, I'll just watch a movie for some time. I'll just watch this for some time. I'll just watch that for some time. This is all too much. I want my mind to shut off from all these things and I want to escape into something. But that escape into something is never happy or enjoyable because it leaves a bad taste in the mouth. Even after the movie is over, we start thinking, oh, what is that stupid move? Why did they behave so stupidly? They could have done like this. They could have, we get involved in what those people in the movie should have done, could have done, would have done, and so on and so on. And it doesn't leave our minds and we get preoccupied with something that doesn't even exist because it's just a story. The actors have come, they've done their bit, they've gone. And it's just a story, it doesn't matter. So this is the way we get bewildered by the material energy. But if we stay strong in the association of devotees, slowly we will find ourselves rejecting these things because we will find, it has no taste for us. It doesn't have a charm anymore. It doesn't attract us anymore because we have found a higher taste. We find more pleasure in serving the Lord, in doing our services to the Lord, whether it's just making a simple garland or cooking some nice food or organizing an event or being a temple president and making sure everything goes well. There are so many services one can do according to one's talent, according to one's propensities. And so when we engage in that, we actually start experiencing some ruchi, some taste for doing that, because Krishna gives that taste to us. When he sees that this soul is sincerely trying to serve me, he reciprocates. When we take one step towards Krishna, he takes many, 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 many steps towards us. This is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. And he carries to us whatever we lack and he preserves what we have. He promises this. Ananyas chintayantu maam ye jana paripashate nityam tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So Krishna makes this promise to his devotee that I will not desert you, I will not leave you, I will not give up on you, I will protect you, I will save you, I will purify you. And this is the holy name. He has come in his holy name to give himself to us and to purify us, to protect us, and to guide us back to him. Because Krishna doesn't like to see us suffer, right? Just like those of you who are parents, we don't like it when our children, hurt themselves or wound themselves or get into trouble and they're crying and they're sad and they're miserable. We feel so bad, isn't it? Then imagine how Krishna must be feeling watching us struggling with this material energy, trying to be happy in a place where we cannot be happy. It's not designed to allow us to be happy. You might say, oh, I don't care. I don't mind if I'm not happy. I don't mind being miserable, but I want to stay. But we cannot stay. We cannot stay. After some time, get out, get out. You get kicked out of this body and you're forced to leave this body and take another body. So it's a no-win situation. You just can't win over here. It's designed to make us think of Krishna and go back to Krishna. It's a prison house. It's really a prison house. And just as the prisoners are let out on parole on good behavior, we too can get out of the clutches of the material energy by taking shelter of Krishna and by engaging in his loving devotional service and getting more and more absorbed in that, so that we no longer are subjected to the pangs and miseries of this material world. We are beyond the reach of Durga's trident. She's always poking, Adhyatmika, Adhibhautika, Adhidaivika. She's always attacking us. But we can get beyond that, and by getting absorbed in Krishna's service, in Krishna's holy name, in Krishna's pastimes. And there are great examples for us to follow. There are people whom we have read of and we know of, and we understand that these great souls are showing us the way. Mahajeno Gatasa Pantaha. That means follow in the footsteps of these great souls. The great Goswamis, Srila Prabhupada himself, he would talk to Krishna personally. He would stand in front of the deities and he would talk to Krishna. And Krishna would answer him directly. And we know the pastimes where the Goswamis, they would be lost and they would enter into the pastimes of the Lord. So it is possible. It's not that it's impossible, but we have to practice. We have to practice getting to that point so that we are above the material energy. It's a very lofty goal, sure. We are just coming into Krishna consciousness. So right now we are just struggling to become steady. But the assurance is there that as we practice, we will become more and more solid, we will become more and more steady, and slowly, slowly, we will go beyond this material world and reach in our spiritual body. We will reconnect with Krishna and we will transcend this material world. We will no longer be subjected to the miseries of this material world. And even in the material body, we can go beyond it. So thank you all for listening so patiently. We will now open up for questions, comments, corrections. Is that okay?
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much for very enlightening class. And it's really, really important how Maya is so strong. And I remember I was listening to one lecture and that was very related to one topic where a speaker was saying that if we open a business and we float the share, yeah, and we say if you buy in $10 and this is going to become $500 in 1 month, everybody is going to jump on that. And
Right.
even if somebody say maybe in 20 years or 30 years time, I'm giving you guarantee that it will become 100,000, everybody is still going to buy. Yeah, even it's like they say like towards the end of your life, then also we will buy. We feel like, okay, at least somebody will get benefit. And he said that if I say that this business definitely is going to go down, I'm going to close this business, how many of us will be buying that share? None. But he very nicely gave that example that same apply for our body. We all know this body is going to close down, but still we are investing and going to invest more and more in this body. So I really loved that example, and that reminded, luckily today your class so nicely you articulated all that how this is important to focus on devotional service, association and everything. So thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's a beautiful example you gave. And I really like that example where, we put so much energy and in the end, the body just is on the funeral pyre, it's just burned to ashes. And for what? We are doing all these things. We have to think carefully, where our energies are being invested. So very nice example. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. If you have any questions, comments, or relations, please unmute yourself. And also, I would request, if possible, you can switch on your videos. It gives a very different feeling for the speaker. I definitely can imagine that it gives very different positive vibration that yes, somebody is there at least.
Yeah, it would be nice to see the God family, nice to see God
Yes.
brothers, friends, well-wishers, everyone. Janava, there's my god sister.
Jai.
Hare Krishna, Janava. Sarva Lakshmi.
Hare Krishna.
And the Gopika, Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please
Hare
accept
Krishna.
Krishna.
Please accept mine. All glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Gurudev. Hare Krishna. Wow, beautiful Radha Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sridevi Mataji.
Haribo!
Hare Bol.
Govinda!
Hare Bol. I'm cooking for Guru Maharaj now. Okay. Blessings. Blessings.
Haribo! Thank you for your blessings. Thank you for your blessings.
Yeah, blessings. You give me blessings, please.
Oh my gosh, I can't give you any blessings. You have to give me some
You
blessings.
give me for this cooking now.
You are very
Mataji.
good in everything you do for Guru Maharaj. Don't worry.
Mataji, for this Niti, for his announcement, I wrote him 3 message. And tomorrow I go, Monday I go with it personally. And then I will tell you which date will be your announcement. He was in India and so was not reachable. Don't
Right.
respond. Don't respond. But now I will. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
I just
Hare
go.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Happy
We
cooking
see
for
you
Guru
soon. We see you soon.
soon.
Hare
Haribo.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.
Haribo. I cannot glorify Samyadatri enough. Just yesterday I was thinking of her. You have to see her, how devoted she is to Guru Maharaj's every single need.
Yeah, yeah.
So sensitive. She's so particular.
Sridevi, 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 Sridevi. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna,
Okay,
Krishna,
okay, I won't.
please. Okay?
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada,
My
Srila
lips are
Prabhupada.
sealed. I won't
Hare
say anything
Krishna.
more.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. No more. Now, Samyadatri has said I cannot speak anymore. But when Samyadatri is not around, I will tell you, okay? At the retreat.
Soumyadatri Mataji is reminding me Madhavendra Puri story that self-glorification is like just not really suitable for high quality devotees. They just don't like, they just want to serve. That's it.
Yes, that is, but it's such a shining example for all of us, especially for me, to see how dedicated, how sincere, how selfless our service is. So something to learn,
I'm sure, dear devotees, you will be having some questions. Otherwise, Sridevi Mataji has got questions. She will ask the questions. Yeah.
Krishna.
Sudha Mataji raised her hand. Hare Krishna, Sudha Mataji, please go ahead. Sorry, Namita Mataji, you are saying something. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Mataji. I can ask.
Yes, please.
Okay. Siddha Mataji, please continue. I'll continue.
That's
after
fine,
you.
Namita Mataji, please go ahead. You are already no problem.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisance. All glories to
Accept
Srila
mine.
Prabhupada, all glories to
All
Guru
glories
Maharaj.
to Prabhupada, all glories to Gurudev.
I just wanted to share the realization that the thing you mentioned, that people always, they criticize or comment over the Hare Krishnas, that, oh, they are so boring, which you mentioned in your lecture. So I previously I didn't used to criticize, but I just was curious. What was that? What was something that was making them have so much fun? And people in apart from that community, they are having all the wealth. They are having all the material requirements what they are having, but still they are unsatisfied, they're complaining. But then after entering into this process, I realized that it was the higher taste. It was the higher taste which they have tasted, and still the community which is not part of Hare Krishnas haven't tasted. So that is the difference which I found out. So yes, it is definitely our responsibility that if we have tasted it, we should give it to the possible people who want to have this taste. But this is something that I have realized. I'm just sharing my realizations. And one more thing which you mentioned, that people, yes, in spite of knowing that this is bad for us, this is this, we shouldn't take this. Like diabetic people, they are prohibited from certain things, but still they want it. So in the same way, it applies to our spiritual life as well. We know certain things are not recommended for us, so we have to have that acceptance that we should avoid that things with our own free will, and not just with happiness, and not just forcibly. So there was just one this vacation, I was just looking at the people, and they're like there's a there community of people here who are telling that, oh, this season is there, the mango is like we must have, apart from, oh, the diabetes will keep on going. It is a rule that the entire season has gone, we must have one mango at least, we must have this one mango at least. So they know that it is harmful for them, but still they consume it. So that is the lack of control which we are facing. So yes, after coming to this process, we realize that we start discriminating what is good for us and what is not good for us. So thank you for reminding us again. And your lecture was wonderful. Lot of realizations, lot of practical things which we notice around and we aren't able to convey, but you mark it out in small aspects of our practical daily life. So thank you for that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for sharing your realizations. And yes, it is so true. We can either be forcibly, have to take on these penances, or voluntarily by reading and by hearing. They say that an intelligent man, he gets to know knowledge by hearing. So if we intelligently read the words of the Shastras and accept the words of the Shastras, we will be saving ourselves from so much trouble. Why experience a bad thing and then have to suffer for it and then get the realization and then come to the right path? That is more painful, takes more time, and we may not come out so good also after that bad experience. So instead, a man of intelligence applies the wisdom of the Shastras to his life and avoids so many pitfalls and avoids so many bad happenings, so that he can focus on the real goal and the real purpose of life, which is to come back to Krishna. Why fall into trouble every time and then have to extricate ourselves and go through so much problems, which is what happens in the material world. People suffer tremendously. And then sometimes they have realization, sometimes they don't even have realization. It's sad actually to see how the human form
It happens even the pious people are unable to realize this. So when Guru Maharaj says that bhakti is rare, and the sorry, I'm sorry. bhakti is the devotees of the Krishna conscious devotees are rare, and the Bhagavatas are even rarer. So
Right.
that is where now you discriminate, and now you see, but you sometimes people can't see all this, and you're like, you have got that filter now, which they still don't have. So we want them to have that filter, but somehow it's their it's their take up, it's their free will. So we can just help them, but we can't control. So yes, thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for nice realizations, Namrata. Keep them coming. Benefits all of us. Hare Krishna.
Sudha Mataji, please go ahead.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, please accept my all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to our beloved Gurudev.
Thank you, Mataji, for a wonderful class. So nicely explained about two energies, spiritual and material energy. So my question is like, now that we came to Bhakti, we understand we are getting that discrimination like spiritual and material energy, and we are trying to get to do more and more devotional service. But still, like, even material energy is also Krishna's energy, it's external energy of Krishna, right? So now we have the desire, but still we see a lot of obstacles. I mean, how should we understand this? Even though we have that strong desire, we see a lot of obstacles by material energy. Is it like due to karma, or how should we understand that?
First and foremost, what is this when you say I see a lot of obstacles? What are the obstacles you see?
Obstacles means sometimes like we see the imbalances, we don't feel that enthusiasm. Sometimes like we get attracted. I mean, internally, even though we have desires, we see like
Yes.
these things coming up.
Hriday Daurbalyam, that is called weakness of the heart. And this is one of the offenses against, the one of the anarthas actually. And it can pose a lot of problems to us because, there's this saying in English, is willing, but the flesh is weak, like you want to do fasting, but then your body craves sweets. You want to do something, but then your body says, no. So that constant tussle is always there because, we are so body conscious rather than Krishna conscious. So it will have a lot of struggles until we purify ourselves of all those things. So the way to purify ourselves is by chanting the holy name. Chant. And when you chant, really call out to Krishna, please help me, Krishna. Please remove these obstacles. Please help me overcome them. On my own, I have no strength. I have no ability to cross over this. Only you can remove it for me. So when we chant, it should be literally like the call of the baby for the mother. When our is really deep and absorbed and connected to Krishna, Srila Prabhupada said, Krishna says, yes, what do you want? You see, he wants to reciprocate with us. That I may express our desires. My dear Lord, I'm struggling with this addiction to sweets. I know it's not good for me, but yet I want to eat sweets so much. Please help me to get over this constant, wanting something that is not good for me. Or you can say, I'm so distracted because of XYZ, or I'm feeling so much, or this thing is such an obstacle. Please help me. So when we pray to Krishna like that, very sincerely, he removes that obstacle. He makes it easy for us to overcome that difficulty.
Okay, Mataji. So prayers, saying like
prayers and sincerely chanting the holy name. That is, I cannot stress how important it is for us to wake up early in the morning and really put our focus on the holy name. Chant, calling out to Krishna with all your heart. And Krishna will respond.
Okay.
Krishna will respond.
That's
even
nice.
Possible.
Yes, that's very beautiful. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to serve you.
No, thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Request everyone, if you have any, maybe now last question, minute, any realizations or any comment, please.
It's like I put everybody to sleep. Except for those of you who have come online.
No, Mataji, everybody has gone
Cameras
for
online. Huh?
everybody in the spiritual journey, just like they are just thinking, okay, this class done, now they are all gone for chanting, as you said, like morning. So now everybody has gone for chanting.
Okay. All right, if you say so. Explanation. Very nice.
So thank you, Mataji. Looks like there is no further question, but I feel one thing that yes, like this Maya is so strong, and that's why we need this association and a continuous reminder that how to really come out of this. Because more we hear, that reminder helps us at least for some time, if not forever. And more we hear that actually is better for us. So absolutely, like good to really discuss on how to come out of this and how to focus our energy in the right direction for the right cause, for the right goal. So
yes, I needed this class more than anyone else. I think I really needed to hear it myself. Krishna somehow arranges things, for us to get some knocks on the head.
thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much for this lovely, nice class. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhu vyevacha, patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai. Sridevi Mataji ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj ki jai. And thank you for
Hare Krishna ki jai ki jai.